Hey guys, as you know, this is a channel about sports cards. It's also a channel about me. And these next few videos that I'm going to put out are going to be different. They're going to be more on the personal side. We just had Mother's Day. Father's Day is right around the corner. So I've said this before, but I think the luckiest you can get in life is having great parents. And I got lucky. I really did. I could spend hours talking about how I got lucky in life with the parents that I was born into. But this being a channel about sports and cards, I want to share a couple stories that my dad's going to tell that are just a couple samples of the many, many stories that both my parents, not just my dad, but my mom too. In fact, in this first video here, my dad mentions it. Really, my mom, when it comes to sports, is still the hugest sports fan that I know. She watches every single Celtics game, Red Sox game, and always has my whole life. She's excited currently for sure because the Celtics are on their way to the finals. So as far as sports goes, I've had a great influence from my parents. That's one of the reasons I have always, being younger when I was playing sports and then a fan of sports, it all really came from my parents. They just passed that on to me, and it's always been something that we could bond over too. So again, I got really lucky in many ways with my parents. But this first story from my dad, this is one of my favorites. I actually have a couple quick collectibles. One's a card, one's a ticket stub that I want to show here before my dad talks about this story. But if you were to come over and look at my collection, and you'd see kind of consistency in Mickey Mantle and Larry Bird and certain player runs. And then there's some outliers that really don't fit into the overall collection, but they do, because our collection is really an expression of our lives. And so if you were to see this is a 1979 ticket stub from September 12th, 1979. And this happens to be the game where Yaz had his 3,000th hit, number 3,000. And it's a cool collectible regardless. But the fact that my mom and dad were at that game, and there's a funny story that goes along with it, just adds to it. Also, 1980 Topps Lou Brock Yaz card, where it talks about how they both got their number 3,000 in 1979. Just reminds me of this story that you're going to hear from my dad. So here we go. It was 1979, I looked it up, when Yaz got his 3,000 hit game. But I like the story how you ended up at that game, because Mike, right, had tickets. Was it a 4-game series or something like that with the Yankees? And he was one hit away, right?
Oh, yeah.
So how did you end up there?
Well, Mike took the first three sets. Then he gave us the last set. Yeah. He figured the trips would be all done by then.
Yeah.
Well, Mike Tarantino, my friend, worked for Seagram's, and they had great tickets at Fenway Park. They were actually right on top of the rooftop seats there, and it was right just to the left of home plate. It was great seats. So Mike gave us the tickets for Paula and I, and he took the first 3 days. It was a 4-game series, yeah. And the Scrimpsey had 2,999 hits. Right. So he figured, I guess, that he'd be all set. He went to the 3 games, and the Scrimpsey never got a hit. Right. So we went to the game, and we got in there, and it was unbelievable. You go there, and you just go to steps, and it goes right up, and you go right over to the seats, and you just go in, and not any people up there, and when they hit foul balls, they don't even go after them.
It was first baseline, or
yeah, I was on third baseline.
Oh, third baseline, yeah.
Yeah, but they hit a foul ball or something, no one even goes after it.
Right.
You could just see them up there. You could walk over there and get it, but no one did it. And the food was easy to get to too. Nothing. Well, anyways, we were there for the game, and Scrimpsey, and there were these 2 gentlemen sitting behind us. They were young kids. They were probably in their 20s, but they were smashed. They were completely drunk. But there was no problem. They were really good. They didn't no swearing or anything. They're just talking about they were from Canada. And they had been there for all 3 games before this. They had the seats,
Yeah.
Skyview seats. Never got the hit. This was the 4th game, last game like that. And it had to be like about the 7th inning. And we're sitting there watching, and Yastrzemski gets up. Fans are going nuts and all that like that. We're watching. He gets a strike on him, and then Reggie Jackson was playing right field. And Yastrzemski hit the line drive that I think could have been caught. But Reggie kind of jogged after it, and it dropped in, and it was the base hit. Fans were going nuts, and he's going around the bases like this. Everybody's cheering and everything. I turned around. I just happened to stand up, turned around, and the 2 kids, were both passed out. They were just totally wasted. They were very good about the whole thing, but they never saw the hit. They were out.
So they had came all the way from Canada.
Oh yeah.
They sat through. This was the 4th game they sat through waiting for his 3,000 hit.
Yeah.
And then when it finally happened, they were passed out.
And he got the hit, and then it was probably his last time up too. It was in about the 7th inning. And those seats, if you had to buy them, I didn't have to buy them, and Seagram's had them. So Mike had them. That's why.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They had a cost over if you could get them. They were well over $200 a piece, I bet.
Wow, back then too. That's
Yeah,
a lot.
it was. I mean, they were the best seats in the house, and they had 4 days, all 4 days.
So he thought he would catch it in the first 3 games, but you got lucky being at that game.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, I didn't even care if you got to 3,000 hit. I didn't even follow the Red Sox. My wife is the one that followed the Red Sox all the time.
Yeah.
But it was good.